Some men aren't looking for anything logical, like money. They can't be bought, bullied, reasoned, or negotiated with. Some men just want to watch the world burn.
Imagine a world where every human being is motivated by their own self-interest. A world where every action we take is calculated to maximize our own benefit, regardless of the cost of the others. Yeah, it might sound like a dystopian fantasy, but let me tell you that there are some serious arguments and some serious philosophers that argue this is the world where we live in. Let me introduce to you one of the most important and sophisticated debates in human history. Thomas Hobbes and Jean-Jacques Rousseau. They both had a different view on the nature of humans and their social organization. Hobbes believed that humans were naturally selfish and competitive, and society needed a strong central authority to prevent chaos and violence. Rousseau, on the other hand, he was kinda a good person, believed that humans were naturally good and that only the society has corrupted them by creating inequalities and social hierarchies.
Me? I'm so fucking important.
Hobbes believed that without a strong central authority, humans would live in a state of nature that was solitary, poor, nasty, boorish, and short. He argued that humans were naturally selfish and competitive, and they would fight with each other over resources and power. He believed that the only way to prevent this chaos was to establish a strong government that could enforce laws and maintain order. So if humans are that bad and very chaotic, why now the most of the people on earth follow laws and they are very organized by themselves? And the most of the places on earth, the peace prevails. Hobbes have an answer to this. Humans could only be motivated to peace by their own self-interest. He argued that humans would only agree to peace if they feared death and desired a comfortable life as a reward, and they would only follow laws if they were convinced that it was in their own self-interest. It seems kinda convincing. You might look around and say some of what Hobbes has said. You might see the mass of aggression and violence that is around you. We talk about those wars, genocides, acts of terrorism. In addition, humans have a long history of exploiting and mistreating animals. Yes, there are a huge industries that are based on exploiting animals, killing them and exploiting them in a brutal way. Immanuel Kant, one of the most important philosophers in Enlightenment, said we can judge the heart of a man by his treatment of animals. This sucks. According to Friedrich Nietzsche, humans have an innate desire to exert their own power over the others and to achieve a sense of dominance and control. He argues this is the desire what drives human behavior and gives rise to concepts like morality and religion. Nietzsche saw these concepts as being rooted in a desire to maintain power over the others, other than any inherent sense of right or wrong. You can clearly see how Nietzsche can agree with Thomas Hobbes about, and those who are the most successful in this pursuit are rewarded with wealth and power. Because this system reinforces and amplifies the worst aspects of human nature, including greed, selfishness, and lack of concern for others. Have you heard that capitalism creates a dog-eat dog, in which the strong dominate the weak, in which the pursuit of personal gain comes at the expense of the common good?
Which would be worse? To live as a monster, or to die as a good man?
Every human being has hundreds of separate people living inside his minds. They are selfish. This was quoted from Mark Twain. He's an American philosopher and has something to do with this what we're talking about. Twain was a good observer of human behavior. His writing often reflects a deep understanding of the complexities and contradictions of human nature. What is Man? An essay written by Mark Twain. This essay is a philosophical exploration of nature humanity. Twain argues that humans are naturally free, but instead they are a product of their environment and experiences. As he also explores the role of self-interest in human behavior and argues that all human actions are motivated by a desire for a personal gain. This means that even apparently selfless acts are actually driven by a desire for some form of reward, whether it be a social approval or a sense of moral righteousness, or some other form of personal satisfaction. According to him, humans are inherently self-interested and will always act in ways that they believe will benefit themselves in some way. You can see clearly that Mark Twain goes so much deeper in his observations of humans' behaviors. His view reflects a form of psychological egoism, which holds that all humans' behavior is motivated by a self-interest. Twain's perspective highlights the importance of understanding the role of self-interest in human behavior and suggests that even apparently selfless acts should be understood in terms of the individual's motivations. It would be very stupid to talk about human nature without talking about his psyche. This leads us to one of the most important thinkers about human nature and psyche, Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud was a psychologist who argued that human behavior is largely driven by an unconscious desires and conflicts. He believed that human psyche can be divided into three parts: the id, the ego, and the superego. In his book Civilization and its Discontents, he argues that civilization is a product of a human struggle against our own nature. He suggests that sexual drive is a primary source of the struggle, and that the suppression of our sexual desires is what allows us to function in society. You can stop the video and read this paragraph from his book, which explains a lot. The idea of the inherent evil in human nature is similar to the views of Hobbes and Nietzsche. Hobbes believed that without the restraining force of the state, humans would be in a state of a constant war and chaos, driven by their own selfish desires. Nietzsche similarly argued that human nature is driven by the will to power, and the struggle for power is a fundamental driving force of all human activity. In the movie The Dark Knight, the Joker that was played by Heath Ledger, which was amazing. He was attempting to prove his theory that human beings are inherently selfish and evil. He rigs two ships with explosives, and he offers each group a choice: blow up the other ship, or both ships will be destroyed at midnight. The Joker's experiment is based on the idea that the passengers on each ship will act in their own self-interest and blow up the other ship to save themselves. He believes that this will prove that humans are inherently selfish and willing to sacrifice others for their own survival. The clock ticks down to midnight, with both groups struggling with the ethical and moral implications of their decisions. But in the end, neither ship blows up.
Can't rely on anyone these days. You gotta do everything yourself. Don't we? That's okay.
Joker's experiment raises important questions about human nature and whether we are truly capable of acting selflessly in the face of the danger and adversary. This scene in the movie is a powerful representation of a philosophical concept that humans are inherently self-interested and willing to do whatever it takes to survive, even if it means harming others. The Joker here is a symbol of chaos, representing the worst aspects of human nature, and his plan exposes the dark side of humanity. Joker's plan in The Dark Knight highlights the danger of unchecked self-interest and the importance of moral values in society. Joker wanted to prove that anyone could be corrupted, even the most virtuous person, and that society was fundamentally flawed. This video game has become an extremely popular game in which players can do virtually anything they want, including committing crimes, causing distractions, and disregarding authority. This idea of having complete freedom and control in the game as it allows them to act out their desires without consequences. It's kind of weird to see how the players have desire for violence and chaos, engaging in activities that are normally prohibited, such as stealing cars, committing murder, and a lot of bad things. And there are so many people who enjoy playing this game, including me and you. Might this suggest that there is a part of us that is attracted to these darker impulses, despite our better judgment? This game really reflects the darker side of human nature, and without the proper checks and balances, we are capable of incredible acts of violence and selfishness.